Okay, Reese, we are good to go when you're ready.
Okay, yeah. Did you want to go through did you want to pull up your slides now, Debbie, or?
Yeah. I'm seeing first, let me check. I think actually,
Debbie, Tony just texted saying the link for this meeting did not get her into it. There we go.
There she is.
I've got,
Or do you want to do roll call first, Debbie?
yeah, we're just, I'm just sending Tony the link. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
I got it.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, sorry.
Okay, so it is 5:47. Chair Reese Adams,
Present.
Vice Chair Martin Gilmore,
Here.
Kyle Conrad,
Here.
Amy Fox,
Here.
Julie Parker,
Here.
Stacy, and you guys will have to correct me if I'm saying your name wrong. Stacy Potish,
Here, correct.
is it Leah Moran?
I'm here. It's Marianne.
Moran.
Close enough.
Okay, thank you. We have alternate member Monica Alvarez,
Hi, here.
council member Noonan Camp.
Here.
We have Inglewood Public School Liaison Emily Ancona,
Here.
MOA representative Tim Baca,
Here.
and staff we have director Christina Underhill and event supervisor Tony Arnoldy. Okay. Let me share screen. Okay.
What do you want to go in?
So let's go ahead and do the approval. Oh, you want to do introductions?
Yeah, let's do introductions.
Okay.
I am Reese Adams, chair of the CAC, and I'm so excited to have all of you guys. We haven't been at full strength for a couple of months due to babies and all sorts of various things that have come up over the last 6 months or so. So welcome. And if you guys don't mind just kind of going around and introducing yourselves. I don't know, Amy, do you want to start maybe?
Oh, sure. Would you like us? Well, I'm Amy Fox. I'm very excited to be here. And do you want us to say anything else?
Yeah, say whatever you feel like.
Okay.
Why you're excited, yeah.
Oh, I'm excited because I live on Fox Street, which is kind of ironic. And we've just really been here a few years, my two kids and I, and this is a way to really dig deeper roots into Inglewood. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. Leah, do you want to maybe go next?
Sure. My name is Leah, and I have lived in Inglewood for really only a little over a year. And I'm super excited to be on this board. I really like getting involved in the community, so I'm excited to see what we do.
Great, thank you. Stacey?
Hi there, I'm Stacy Potish. I'm super excited to be here. I also am fairly new to Inglewood area, but I'm a native to Colorado, and I am excited to be a part of the cultural arts group here and see all the fun things that we can do this year.
Yeah, me too. Monica?
Hi, I'm Monica. I'm new to Inglewood, but a Colorado native as well. I'm just excited to get more involved and get to know my new city.
Great, thank you. And then maybe for the current members, do you want to just kind of go around and give a little bit about yourselves too? Martin, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. I'm Martin Gilmore. I've been on the commission since 2018 when I filled a vacant position, and I am a musician and I teach music. I teach at Swallow Hill Music Association, and I also teach at the University of Northern Colorado and at the DU Enrichment School. And yeah, lots of stuff. We've done a lot of cool projects over the years, and it's been a great experience being on the commission so far.
Thanks.
Glad you're all here.
Yeah, Julie, you want to go next?
Yeah, hi, I'm Julie Parker. I was just trying to look up when I started. I think it might have been 2019, but I can't remember exactly. And let's see, I moved to Inglewood probably around the same time and was looking to get involved, and we've had some really cool projects since then. So I'm glad to be a part of the group and also to welcome you new members. It'll be nice to see what we can do with, you know, lots of excitement, enthusiasm with our membership. And just for just about me, I'm an artist. I do puppetry, and I also am an art conservator. So I do restoration on historical artifacts. So kind of have an interest in a couple of different facets of art, and happy to meet artists who live in the area. So that's kind of what I'm excited about, is meeting other artists.
Great. Thanks, Julie. Kyle?
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you all. My name's Kyle, and I've been on the commission for about a year. I, like Monica, started as an alternate member and then got brought up to the big leagues. So now I can vote and do all this stuff, which is exciting. And I got involved because I've been in Inglewood since I think we moved here in 2016, and I just wanted to be more involved. I'm also a Colorado native. And in my other life, I work for CU Succeed, and I teach sociology. And I come from a family of artists. I'm actually like one of the least talented of my family members, but a lot of them do pottery and felt and sell all their crafts. So I have a huge appreciation for art, and I like to be creative, and I love meeting talented people that are far more talented than me and promoting their art in our community, because I think it makes for a more vibrant, beautiful place to live. So I'm really happy to have you all here and be part of making our community just a wonderful place to live.
Awesome. Thank you all. Okay, let's move into the approval of the minutes from our last meeting on January 5th. Once you guys have a second to look those minutes over, if I could get either an approval or any comments if there's anything that seems off.
I motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Thank you.
Second.
Can I get a second? Thanks, Martin. And now let's vote. The thing that I always forget. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thank you all. All righty. Okay, we don't have any public comment tonight. So we'll move into, do you want to go ahead and start the overview? Debbie? Okay.
So in your new member binder, and for the current commission members, in the new member binder, you received a board and commission policy handbook. For the current board members, you received it in the June 2021 packet. But a couple of items within that handbook that I wanted to kind of bring to everybody's attention, or as a reminder: the Colorado Open Meeting Law. Inglewood's boards and commissions are local public bodies subject to the Colorado Open Meeting Law. A meeting, Colorado Open Meeting Law considers a meeting any kind of gathering convened to discuss public business in person, by telephone, electronically, or by other means of communication. All meetings of a quorum, and for the Cultural Arts Commission, that is 4 members, or 3 or more members of any local public body, whichever is fewer, at which any public business is discussed or at which any formal action may be taken. Those are declared to be public meetings and they are open to the public at all times. Meetings do not include chance meetings or social gatherings in which discussion of public business is not the central purpose. So such as like if you had a holiday gathering or a public event, something like that. So all communications between the forum or 3 or more members at which any business of the board, commission, or committee is discussed or any formal action may be taken are also declared to be public meetings and open to the public at all times. So you need to remember that when you are emailing. So when you do have a public meeting, those need to be, a notice needs to be made public. So if possible, a notice of the meeting shall be posted by noon on the Thursday prior to the date of the meeting, or at the least 24 hours in advance. Any agenda information, supplemental information should also be made public at that time. So I know we've talked about that before when there is like a subcommittee or anything like that. We do need to remember that those are considered public meetings, and we do need to put notice up within at least 24 hours. So the other item is the Colorado Open Record Law, and this pertains more like for emails or such for you guys. Boards and commissions are subject to the Colorado Open Records Law. Procedural compliance with the law is a function of staff support in most instances. However, from time to time, members of boards and commissions and committees will receive communications regarding matters within their scope of activities. All types of communications, including email, constitute a public record, and the city is obligated to retain such communications in accordance with guidelines and policies prescribed by law. Similarly, communications to members, citizens, officials, and staff are public record as well. Members of boards and commissions and committees should provide a copy of all communications to their respective staff liaison for inclusion to the public record. And then note that under the Colorado Open Records Act, public records made, maintained, or kept by the city, regardless of format or medium, are open for inspection by the public at reasonable times. So any emails that are public record can be viewed by the public. So, this is in the handbook. So take some time, look over the handbook, make sure you understand this, and any other items within the handbook that you have questions on, feel free to reach out to me. The city clerk's office will be holding the board and commission training sometime in the near future, and they will be talking more about this and other items in the handbook. So that's all I've got, Reese. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it, Debbie.
Yeah.
Debbie's like our trove of all information topics regarding the city. So if you ever have a question, she's an awesome resource. All right, Christina, I think maybe you wanted to go through some of the financials.
Sure, yeah, I actually want to talk about how the CAC has some funding to do various projects, and then I'll talk about your current budget and what was appropriated for 2022 for the commission to utilize in procuring art, doing various events, programs, what you all decide. So 1% for the arts is based on the estimated original budget cost of capital projects. We have one fund in the city, which is number 31, which is our capital projects fund. And 1% of all the projects that are over $100,000 in that fund, we get 1% to the CAC for our projects. So as far as overall, our carry forward balance currently of 2021, it sounds like there might be some invoices coming in for last year possibly, but $69,000 is what we're carrying forward. We were appropriated for 2022 out of the 1%, $13,267, which brings our fund balance to $82,267.83. So spend that 83 cents wisely. And so that's what we have for projects that you like to see. Now it does roll year after year. So if you know, in 2024, let's say we're going to do a big art commission and get a large sculpture of some sort. It might be $75,000, making an example here. It might be something where we plan for that and not spend all the money annually that we have in the budget. So that maybe lead to the next topic of projects, but we do have opportunities coming up as part of our wayfinding and placemaking master plan to put art throughout our city so people know they're in Inglewood. And so that's something we're looking forward to over the next couple of years, probably a few years, if not longer, to start procuring some of that art. Any questions?
Nope. I will piggyback off of that because one thing to keep in mind with the 82,267 and however many cents you said is that for any pieces that will require conservation, we have to set aside 25% of the budget for future conservation needs. So, 82,000 might seem like a lot, but it's pretty amazing how quickly that can go for, public pieces of art, of which I'll just say we have quite a few. I don't know, Debbie, in your binders, you may actually have a list of all of our pieces, many of which are in City Hall. We have sculptures, and this has gone back since 1998, I think is when it first started. So over those however many years, we've kind of acquired a lot, probably a lot more than any of us even realize until you look at the list. But in addition to that, the last couple of years, of course, have been kind of crazy with COVID, but we have a lot of projects that are currently in the works. You'll notice the traffic boxes around town, some of the crosswalks. We did the Swedish Horse project last year. In 2019, probably one of our last fun things was the Shadows of Sleepy Hollow that Julie helped with, which was really cool. I don't know if any of you were walked around downtown, but it was a really fun event. And then, we are kind of at the beginning of this year starting to plan things, but as we do, we also have a link on the CAC website, if you guys go to it, for the public to submit their ideas to us for projects. And sometimes it might be, help, it might be funding. A couple of the funding projects that we funded last year were the steamroller event at Celebrate Inglewood. And then we're also, which is kind of a work in progress, but we have a mini libraries project that is going into some of the schools around town. So all of this, I'll just say, is kind of, our decision making for projects is based on kind of city needs. If there's an opportunity within the city for art, if a member of the community comes forward and asks for something. But also, I want to say in the end of 2019, there was an art survey conducted, and that art survey kind of asked the public what they wanted to see. And a couple of the big hitters were public art, more like pop-ups and festivals. In fact, Martin helps with our music a lot. So we've done in the past pop-up concerts, which we're talking about like reimagining for 2022. So, but still including music as a public event. And, artist meet and greets, and then creating a kind of an art district. So we think about kind of the things that the city wants to see from us because we're using their tax dollars. And so a lot of that helps guide our decisions for what we take on and what we don't. And we have a limited budget, obviously, but I'll just say from my experience, so I started in 2019. So like, oh yeah, go ahead, Stacy.
I was just wondering if we have any upcoming either restoration projects or large pieces that we need to fund out of the 82,000.
Not right now, no. Restoration is kind of like an ongoing project. And then there are discussions about large pieces, but some of the large pieces are also funded not just from the CAC. Some of it might be from wayfinding or placemaking. Some of it might be from various, you know, like big projects. For example, the 285 and Broadway interchange. There's like funds also being set aside for some pieces there. So we always are talking about it like a couple years in advance because we want to just make sure that we know, but it's not always incumbent upon us to fully fund those projects. So good question. Before I stop there, any other questions about some of that stuff? Yeah, Tim.
I just kind of, because there's so many new members and I haven't had the opportunity to meet many of you, but I represent the Museum of Outdoor Arts, and I just wanted to sort of chime in and clarify a few things. So we have, you know, our outdoor art collection there in the city, and we have about 30 outdoor pieces. So a lot of the pieces you see around the Civic Center and such are part of the museum's collection, not actually part of the city's public art collection, but we have worked very closely with Arts Commission in the past and through the schools on different community projects like the box wraps and some of the murals you've seen around town. But I just wanted to introduce myself and let all the sort of new members know about that history. We've been in the city about 22 years. So.
Thanks, Tim, appreciate it. Awesome. Martin, Kyle, Julie, anything that you guys want to add from like your perspective, our ongoing sort of projects and the way we approach things? Go ahead.
I was also going to say we also have a lot of input on community events around the city, and so like Tony hopefully will talk a little bit more, but it's what I've learned over the past year is like we're often supporting those events funding wise, or trying to add an art component, or you know, simply having a presence there of the Cultural Art Commission. So that's just another piece too of like events along with art pieces and music that we contribute to the city. Is that, yeah, Reese?
Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, I'll tell you, like when I first joined the commission, it took me several meetings to figure out like what was going on. So if this kind of like doesn't sink in for a few months, that's okay. And if it does, then you're leaps and bounds ahead of where I was. So, but it kind of takes a while to figure out the groove of all of this.
Yeah, I'm just now getting a pretty good grasp on what's happening, and it's a year in. So,
yeah.
And this is really, I just wanted to, I mean, I agree with the comments that others have made, but I also just wanted to say that, I mean, it's great working with the different, like Christina and Tony and like the different parts of the city, how we collaborate with the city, because I'm super excited about promoting artists that live and work in this area. So like being able to participate in those events and especially with some of the other things we've done, having the support of the city has been really helpful. So I don't know, I just think it's a great group to work with, and Tim Baca, and we had somebody from the libraries here before he moved on, but you know, just all the different institutions in the area that are supportive of the arts too. I am excited about that.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else before we move on? Well, that's your official training. So next, so last meeting, we started talking about summer kind of artist shows and neighborhood displays. And I'd like to continue that conversation because I think it's a project that we were all really excited about, and we started talking about it. And I think for it to come to fruition, if we decide to move forward, it's going to take several months worth of planning, and you know, it'll be here before we know it. So since we only meet once a month, I think it's prudent to start early for a lot of these like bigger events. So I don't know if anybody has given this any additional thought. I know, so if we, let me ask this question. So if we, do we need to like vote on this if it's something that we're going to move forward with? Or is it just, is it like something that we can just organically go with?
Well, I think we have to vote if we're applying money to it. That's
Yeah,
kind of
which I don't know
what-
at this point if we would be.
Yeah, I mean, we need to have kind of a specific vision of things to,
Yeah.
in order to vote on it.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
I think,
Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
well, I think last time there was 2 ideas that were tossed out, and I think both are possibilities. I think the one I am most passionate about is potentially having like a backyard art show around Inglewood where artists could do workshops and sell their art and have art displays. And I looked up, so Park Hill does an event. This is where I got the idea, or actually I got the idea from Julie, and then I looked up more from the Park Hill. So they do a backyard art show in October. And so they actually have artists who like show them doing some of their work. So for instance, some artists were blowing glass, some artists were throwing pots and actually doing pot demos. Some were painting in the backyard, and then artists, a lot of the yards had 2 or 3 artists per yard, and they were selling their artwork. And throughout Denver, you could pick up maps to go and actually view the art. So you would take a touring map to walk around the neighborhoods and stop into backyards. I need to find out more. I want to do some more research on it to see like what the costs are, because I know there's going to probably be marketing costs, and then I don't know like I don't know what the agreement between the groups that put it on and the artists were. So I need to find out a little bit more about that. But I do think it'd be a really fun way to potentially get artists from Inglewood involved. There were artists from Aurora and other communities who came to the backyards and like partnered with people. So it wasn't just one set of, it wasn't just Denver artists is what I'm trying to say. It was like Denver Metro artists, but like the people who lived in Park Hill were hosting, like the host of those backyard shows. Estes Park also does one. So I was thinking about reaching out to the groups who do them and seeing like what it takes, what the commitment is, how they find the artists to get them involved. And then my thought was that I think Park Hill does theirs in October, but I actually think fall is a good time to do it because of Christmas. So like doing it in September, either like August, September, or October, and doing it on a different date from the Park Hill one might be something to think about. And so I'd love to hear other input. And then Julie's idea, Julie, I think you can talk about this more, but was like commissioning Inglewood to do like a walking tour of art, which I also think is an awesome idea.
So yeah, I can speak a little bit more about it's not my idea. I was just reading an article in the New York Times. It was early on in the pandemic, and they were talking about like, you know, how everybody was locked down and artists, were putting up art in their yard or on the side of their garage or whatever. And then there was just a central list with the locations so people could drive or bike or whatever around and look at the artwork. And it wasn't, I love Kyle's idea of like the backyard demos and all that stuff. That sounds amazing. And I would definitely like to go on that walking tour myself. But mine was more of an idea, I guess more about publicity for people who live here rather than, you know, an organized event. So I like both ideas, honestly. And I think the other ones, they could like, you know, put their hashtag or, you know, whatever. I'm not a social media person, but, you know, it was more publicity and something to do during the pandemic was kind of the thing that had inspired me. So like I said, I like both ideas and I want to go to the walking tour. So
Me too.
Can you have your hand up? I'm going to go over to you real quick.
Oh yeah, I'm on mute. Yeah, I just wanted to say I've been coming to the Cultural Arts Commission meetings. I'm not a voting member, by the way, but I've been coming for about 18 years. So I know a lot of the past of what this commission's done. And I will say that in the past, there was an open Inglewood Studios day. I think it occurred on like a Saturday and Sunday. and it was really successful. And I'm not sure, I can't really recall why it ended, but just to mention that, was a successful event in the past, and it's a great idea to engage it. There's so many new artists in the community too. So
Yeah. Do you remember about what year that was, Tim?
Debbie might remember.
Trove of information.
I want to say it was like probably 2010-ish, give or take.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a while.
There may even be an
One of
opportunity.
the things we did in the
Oh, go ahead, Martin.
sorry. That's okay. One of the things we did in the past was that artist meet and greet. And part of that was to kind of collect a list of artists who lived in the neighborhood. And we did a few of those kinds of things. So there is a list of artists who are around that exists, though we probably have different folks. Me personally, I'm super in on these kinds of things because that's one of the goals of I always thought of the commission was to kind of have a quote unquote inventory of artists of who's around. And this would be a good way of doing that.
And Martin, I've got a quick follow-up question. Do we have any artist meet and greets planned coming up where we could collect some more artists for whatever it is we're going to do?
No, I'm open to that, but we postponed it because of the Omicron wave. But I as soon as we can get them started and feel like it's appropriate for us to get them started, I'm totally in for that because it's pretty. I have some other ideas, but honestly, it can be pretty low key of just, hey, everybody, we're getting together here.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it was before. If we offer a little something better, we could talk about that in a little bit. But these things are cheap and they're really good for a community, I think. So that's I'm all for it.
They don't require future conservation efforts. and
Yeah.
funds.
Yeah, just thinking about like artist shows and neighborhood displays. We definitely have to, I think like we need some first steps. This is just me thinking out loud of contacting artists to see if people are interested, first of all, and maybe what time of year might benefit artists the best. I don't know. We could contact people from that list. But when we're thinking about a year, maybe there's a time of year when sales are slow and maybe they could use a boost, and that might be a good way to do it.
I was thinking based kind of when I was looking around at these, that it seems like for Colorado, August, September, October would be good times. Partly because of weather. So like having people outside, like if we go too much summer, it's a really hot day and you're having a lot of people's art outside in the heat, and that can be a problem. So I was thinking September, you get a little bit, sometimes, of course it's changing, you do get a little bit more cool down. It's not so hot that people are more out to walk, spend a whole day doing it is what I'm trying to say. I also thought about that Christmas, of encouraging Christmas presents, because that's a good way for artists to make money. So kind of hitting it in that time frame of fall, I think will potentially bring them in more sales. But I do think summer is a potential too, like we could do August or even July. I'm just worried about heat because then, it's hot during the day.
I'm also worried about like families and being out of town for summer break. So.
But I do. Oh, sorry, Martin.
That's okay. You keep going. I'm changing this.
Well, I was thinking about, as you talked about first steps, if we did a layered approach, like I know we were talking about those pop-up concerts, and maybe like a layered approach is to have a concert in May or June and contact everyone on our list who's an artist and invite them to like a park concert as a meet and greet, and provide food, have a concert, invite the community, and start building that inventory as a first step, like in May preferably, so that we have names to get going by October. And like if I get a list, if Debbie or Tim have the list too, I can start contacting people now, to see what artists would be interested in participating.
Yeah.
Our
How many
artist list
artists
is on the hard drive.
Yeah. I keep talking over you, Reese. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go. All good.
How many artists participate in the Park Hill one? Do you know?
I want to say it was like 17, but then a lot of the houses had 2 or 3 artists. So the 17 was the list of the person hosting only. So that only listed the name of the house. And to be honest, even the day we went, I think we only made it to 7 or 8 houses, and we were like, it had taken up a lot of our day even to do that many. I think we did like 4 hours, maybe 5, and we were done. So I think like a goal should be maybe 10 houses for Inglewood. Like between 10 and 20 should be the goal. And that would give a lot of room for people to roam. And then also looking in different corridors of the city, like the different neighborhoods, and trying to like have maybe 2 or 3 houses per neighborhood would be ideal. But obviously we don't have to, I mean, that would be nice, but it doesn't have to be that.
I also wonder if, I don't know, like, if there could be people in some of the parks or something too, like,
Yeah.
because we just went outside, right? I mean, with the open studio thing, I imagine people were going around indoors, Tim, and back in the days before the pandemic. But that we've got all these beautiful parks too, and had been talking about ways to use them as well, like I don't know,
Yeah.
plein air painting in by the mushrooms or whatever. I don't know.
Well, yeah. And also for people who don't have yards. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say
my yard's very small. I wouldn't be able to host anybody in my yard.
I was just gonna say, hopefully you all have the artist database that was started on, I mean, there's like a Google Share Drive. I think Martin probably knows about it.
Yeah.
So there is that,
forgot.
and I think it has about 40 or so artists contacts on there, but I'm sure it could be added to at this point. But
Okay. I should know that. I totally forgot about the Google Drive.
I think a lot of people forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I add to it. So.
And if I can, with our new website, we also did a link on the cultural arts page. So we also have a list going there. And I can work with communications on merging the 2 lists together.
Oh, great.
Sorry, do you think it would be possible to send out a link to the Google Drive? Because I mean, I keep hearing about it and I feel like I've seen it, but I don't even seem
I'll
to have
send it out
it.
after this meeting again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so for all of our new members, we have a drive where we sort of keep a hodgepodge of, all sorts of things over the years, but a lot of our art projects, if there's documentation or the artist list, for example, it's just kind of like a running list there for everybody to view. So I will give everybody access to that after this meeting.
I like this idea. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. Kyle, would you want to maybe volunteer to sort of head this off a little bit so we have like a single contact?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Awesome. And then maybe we kind of just take it bit by bit, and then maybe by next meeting or the meeting after, we can even form a small subcommittee to start working on things. Or if there's anything that you need in the meantime, feel free to like email me or divvy it up if you need help.
I think what I'll start with is I'm going to start doing some more research, and then hopefully come to the next meeting with an outline, and we can maybe start to fill in the outline. I don't think I'm going to start reaching out to artists yet. I think I want to wait until we have an outline and kind of communication pieces about how we want to target the artists, but we can figure that out next
Awesome.
meeting.
And I'll tell you what, as you were saying, Julie, you were saying about the city city staff for the communications team, like, is so helpful for things like this when it comes to the social media and print, anything that we might need. They're really excited to jump on some of these projects. So
I guess the one question I do have is, do we want to make sure we also have the parks, and is there any logistics on that, or should I research that through the city? Like maybe reach out to Christina and Debbie if we were to have artists in the park. Would that be like another side conversation?
Yes, it would. I think between Debbie and even Tony with events, it's definitely a conversation we can have on the side to discuss options.
Okay, so I'll follow up with you all after this meeting and see what logistics, if we did include parks as an option beyond houses.
And I mean, just putting out my first question when we're talking about any of those locations is insurance. So
Yeah.
like how they handle that, I'm very curious.
I work in insurance, and that's always my favorite question as well. Okay.
Well, it was the thing for the puppetry.
Yeah.
And even though we were in city spaces, anyway, it's complicated, so.
All right, I think anything else on this topic? Okay, let's, I think we'll move on to the old business, which is the t-shirts and the winner of that contest. So for all of you who maybe don't know the background of this, we sponsored a volunteer, so a t-shirt like design competition for the 2022 Englewood volunteers. I think Tony, I'll let you speak to it, but it's the first year that we've done this, right? I mean, it's the first year we've done this, but it's the first year that it's been done, right?
Yeah. So super exciting. So yes, we did call out for any artists to submit a design, which will serve, the winning design will serve as the 2022 volunteer t-shirt. And the Cultural Arts Commission was very, very helpful and played a huge role in this. And even went as far as offering a prize to the artists that selected. So we ended up having 23 designs submitted, which was huge because we were like at 5 and then we went to like 25 overnight. So that was super exciting. And we put out all of those designs to the voting members and everyone submitted their votes. And I'm going to share my screen. And I have all of the votes. So if anyone wants to see, I'll just share that. Do you see, is it the Excel spreadsheet?
I only see the top part of it.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. So this is all of the different votes came in and I split it up or divided it up. So if something was voted first, it was 100 points. Second, it was 50 points. Third, it was 25 points. And if there was a tie on first, second, or third for you, then we split those up and put them out. So this was how everything shook out. And then we wanted to see, I'm going to stop sharing that one. These were the top 3 that came in. So my question to you as a team tonight is, this is the first place winner. And do you want to just go with what the votes came out as the first place winner, or did you all want to vote on these 3 to come up with the final winner? As I know some people or some that voted, these weren't in their top 3. So I didn't know if you wanted to vote on these 3 as the top 3 or just go with the first place winner that came out from the votes.
My vote would just be go for the first place winner.
Me too.
All right.
Me 3.
Does anybody not want to do that?
No, I agree. I think that should be the way we do it.
All right, great. Well, the first place winner was obviously this one. And are there any changes that, I know we don't want to change an artist's art, but anything glaring to you guys all that we would want to reach out to the artist and ask for any modifications prior to pursuing to get them put into print?
No, I like it. I'm glad it has the year on it. That was my only concern with some of them is they didn't have a year.
I agree, because I very much think this would be a very cool thing to do year after year. And so
Awesome. Do you have the artist name?
I have it somewhere.
Oh, that's fine.
Debbie, do you have that list by chance handy? If not, I can make sure to email it all to you guys. And I'm sorry, I meant to put that on here.
Let me go into my file and see if I've got it.
Well, anyway, the artist will win $500. So that's great.
I did have a question about the just general design. I noticed that 2022 is the biggest, most obvious text on the design. Is that what we want to call focus to the most, or would it be the name of the city or volunteer? Since I obviously have no background on this whatsoever, it's more just out of curiosity than anything.
I'm fine either way. We, as long as it says Inglewood, I love that it has our city tree on it. And it, volunteer is obviously a big thing on it. But that's a good point. Is that something for the commission? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it was voted for it the way that it looks, and I like it. And my vote would not be to change it. I think it's a nice representation of what we asked for.
Yeah, I think it's great. The only thing that I think could be up to you, Tony, which I was thinking about as I voted on things, and then the next day I was like, I didn't think about that, was if you wanted on the back of it to be like volunteer, just so people could clearly identify who the volunteers were. Like if you were having people wear it at the block party, like maybe they could write a volunteer piece for the back. I don't know. That was just something I thought about afterwards, of like how to know that person's the volunteer, because this is aesthetically very pleasing. And I wouldn't want them to change the front, but if you needed quick identifiers, do you know what I don't know if I'm making sense, but like at events.
It makes sense. I guess my thought is that the color of the shirt and what's on the shirt will identify them, because only volunteers are going to have the shirt on.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Leah, I see your hand.
Hey, I was just wondering, and I'm sorry if I missed this, is the t-shirt going to be white with the black printed on it, or is it a specific color for the volunteers with black printed? And I apologize if I missed this.
You did not miss this. And that was my next question. Was we can have any color of shirt. So as obviously it's a black and white design with no color in it. And that's great. What color of shirt is completely up in the air. If we want to do green, red, blue, purple, yellow, it doesn't much matter to me. I tend to like to stay away from white t-shirts for different reasons. And so I'm open to any color suggestion. If nobody has one, I would probably go with this color of green in the Inglewood guide, or I don't know what I'm looking for, but style guide. They have very specific greens, and I would just pick a green out of there. So
I was going to suggest the same for me.
Great.
My opinion of green from the.
Yeah, I was like, that needs to be a color, but I do like it a lot.
Something that stands out for sure.
Great.
Cool.
Okay, Tony, what number is that shirt?
It is number 10, I believe.
Okay, so it is Emil or Tumbo.
Awesome.
So I will double check that and I will get you the names. I will get you the artist information for the first, second, and third. And then however you all want to go about with announcing that or awarding them the prize or however.
Yeah, maybe we can just do like a quick post about it or something, Christina, kind of in the same format that we advertised it. Great. Thanks, Tony.
Of course. Thank you guys. I'm excited.
Put it on your list of calendar activities for the end of 2022 so we can have it ready to go for 2023.
Yeah, we'll do it in like September.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of which, you want to go ahead and talk about the events?
Yeah. So when I have gone to council and all of the events that we had discussed at the last meeting have none of them were asked to be removed. So that's a good thing. And yesterday, the events microsite website relaunched. And I'm pretty excited about that. It has a list of all of the events and it has the new vendor sponsorship pay scale that we came up with, which will hopefully make it a little more inviting and affordable for people to be part of all of the different events. And like I had mentioned before, I would love for you all to be at any and all of the events, but I also am excited to have a lot of different events that we can maybe have artists at. This year we're having 7 markets, but an actual market series of 5, which are starting in May and go May, June, July, August, September. And then we have the extremely excellent extravaganza crazy event in April 9th. So that's our kickoff, which is going to be kind of like a spring fling. And one of the activities there is going to be the Great Egg Hunt or extravaganza. And then a market is also going to be an activity, which I'm always looking for local vendors and artists to come and either show how they do their art, sell their art, promote their art, anything at any and all of the markets. But one of the other things that we're planning on doing there is having spring events. So we're giving away free garden seeds and we're going to have like pottery, the terracotta pots where the kids can paint the pots, and then maybe people can start learning different tricks and trades of growing flowers and vegetables and having a lot of our local greenery places and stuff there as well. So that is my current thing, is reaching out to get all kinds of different vendors. Case is going to be there with pollinators, and I'm hoping that we can talk about the city gardens that we have. I know Debbie plays a huge role in that. So yeah, and just kind of take it through the whole year. And I'm super excited and would love to have CAC a part of all of those, whether it be music or a booth or talking about the coolest new project or anything. So we have events starting on April 9th and going through December 3rd. So you guys want to tag on to any of that? I would love it and be happy to have you.
Yeah, so I'll just put this out there. I'll take this away, everybody noodle on it, kind of have some time to look over what's available. And then also, Tony, maybe if there are any specific asks for any specific events, give us like several months notice so that we can make some decisions, because it sometimes takes more than just one meeting to. Sometimes it takes more than several meetings to get things like solidified. So
absolutely. I think my first ask, the biggest, I mean, maybe not the biggest, but my first ask would be the Celebrate Inglewood event on May 7th. that is designed to celebrate Inglewood. And Cultural Arts Commission and MOA and everyone has had such a huge role in making Inglewood what it is, and the art and the history. And so I would love for you guys to have a presence there and maybe showcasing like some of the things you've done, the Swedish horses, you know, the sidewalks or the traffic boxes, the crosswalks, and just kind of letting people know who you are and what a huge role you've played in the art that is around Inglewood.
Cool. It could also be an opportunity for us to market future events too. So,
and we could have music.
Tony, do you want us to sponsor music for that event? Like us to be the sponsor of music or something?
You know, we had briefly talked about it at one of the meetings of having, instead of a pop-up sort of concert, because I know Martin said that was more difficult, of having the local artists at, you know, each of the markets in the different areas being a possibility. And I would still love to explore that if that's still an option. So I would love to have local music. You know, we had, you guys had an artist at Grow and Gather 2020. I know they're all kind of running together for me, but that was awesome. One of the markets is going to be in that area. It's that little parking lot across from Grow and Gather, right there by Craig. And so, you know, they really enjoyed that. I think Craig is going to be another play a role again this year, and they love anytime you guys have music or anything for their patients or family members to come and enjoy, especially around their area. So that would be amazing if that's something you guys are willing to do or interested in doing.
Okay.
Do you want music at more of those, at those events? I mean, there are 5 here, which is how many pop-up concerts we did in the summer, but we have some other ideas there. Just while we're talking about it, are there other ones that you can think of?
Yeah, I think all of the markets would be an amazing opportunity. I don't have a plan to have any type of music or entertainment at any of those markets, so it wouldn't be competing, or it would be an awesome addition.
Okay. I can think about that. And if any of the new members are interested in music stuff, definitely reach out to me. I don't have to do it all myself.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Any other questions on events or for me?
No, this is great. Thanks, Tony.
No, thank you guys.
Okay. We'll move into staff's choice. Staff, any final words?
Well, I have one kind of exciting. I think it's awesome for the CAC because it may save you some money. But Hillary Portel, the executive director of the Inglewood Downtown Development Authority, said their board set aside $5,000 to restore the metal flowers and the flower pots along Broadway. They have reached out to Sean Doherty, who is the artist that originally created those, and he's very interested in restoring those. The timeline of doing this is in April and early May, prior to the flower pots actually being potted with row flowers for the spring and summer months. And so I wanted to let you know this is an opportunity for some restoration to occur, but it won't affect your budget. I think the question is if there's any opposition, that's what we need to know now. We don't technically have to vote, but you can say, no, we don't want them to do that. Being that it's not using CAC funds. So any thoughts on this? Any opposition to allowing the downtown authority to invest in this restoration project?
Well, I just have a thought right off the bat that it's great to involve the artist in that.
Yeah, that was part of our agreement with them, with him, right? Like he was going to conserve it anyway. I don't even think it was part of our budget.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if they're willing to pay him.
Right, exactly. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. That's all I have. Unless I forgot something or you say for anything.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all.
Yeah. Any of our liaisons or council member Newnenkamp?
No, I don't have anything, but thank you guys so much for giving your time. I'm excited about what you guys have coming up. And this is one of the great things about living in the city. So you guys are doing good work. Appreciate you.
Great, thanks. And then for Commissioner's Choice, we're kind of at time. I don't really have anything else to add at this juncture. I think we have plenty to work on. Anybody else, any other member want to have any final closing words here?
The Swedish horses. Or are you guys waiting?
Oh, the Swedish horses, yes. Another thing for us to kind of take away and think about is is what we're going to do with the Swedish horses after their life around Englewood, what we want to do with them. We had a business ask us to buy one, and we've also had the EDDA ask us to, if they could just repurpose them and maybe do a whole nother art competition. One of the things that I think we have learned, I certainly have with this, is that they are the perfect size for people to climb on and destroy. So I would like to see them, if they're repurposed, in a different format, because it's been kind of challenging to keep up with the maintenance of them in their current state. So something to think about for, we talked originally about keeping them in their current place on display for 3 to 5 years, as long as they're in good shape. But we have had some interest in purchasing them at the end of that. So don't have to make a decision now, but something to think about. Thanks, Debbie. Anything else?
I just want to say for any of the new members, if you have questions about stuff on CAC, feel free to reach out to me or Reese.
Yeah.
We're happy to help you. And I think our email should be available to everyone. Phone number. You can text or email me. That's fine.
Same. All right, let's adjourn. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Nice to see everyone.
Bye-bye.
Right.